Hey everybody. So later today I'm going to post out a video that I did with soulogyonestudios with Todd Medina and his wife Morgan. Todd's been at it for a very long time, interviewing some amazing people, and his wife Morgan is she's just so gorgeous. Anyway, really there wasn't a one topic that we were going to do in our chatting, but really it boiled down to just, conversation about relationships intimately with others, relationships with, ourselves during all of this multitude of metamorphosis, because it isn't just one cocoon, folks. It's for me, it's like a whole lot of them. And I've been at this all my life, so I didn't really expect the last few months to be as tough as they are or have been. And I don't mean by tough like as in it's been so difficult or so hard, but it's been dangling, like a lot of dangling, a lot of downtime, a lot of time to think, idle time, feeling like, okay, well, I think I completed a lot of shadow or inner work or this or that or so on. Now what? And there just seems to be these longer voids between the next one. And in the meantime, you don't feel as like you're getting as many messaging. And so the interesting thing was, Morgan said, well, I don't know, I feel kind of like I'm just in a space where I don't have a whole lot to say, shouldn't have any taste and different things. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the exact same way. Like, this has been going on for months. I'm like sitting around going, and now I'm like, come on. And then I'm like, oh, have a great day. And then it's like, again, more and more of us are experiencing that. And then we also got Todd's perspective on, his basic constitution of I got to do what I got to do, and I'm gonna do what I got to do, and hopefully with the best of my ability. And that was Morgan's and my thing too, but it was just interesting to hear her in another country, and then him as a male in another state, and then me in DC, and just the three really complete strangers having so many similar experiences, and then being able to say, it feels like shit sometimes. And for people who are busy and know that they have a mission and have come in more and doing more, we expect more. And so we can be a little harder on ourselves. And I know I had expressed that in a couple interviews I've done with people and also to my clients is, you got to come in here and work the spiritual side of your journey more than you do the other side, okay? Because the other side will fall into place. And you got to work that spiritual journey like it's your freaking job. Because there are people out there contracted to meet you, places that you're supposed to be. And then they're going to show up because they did all the work, and then you're going to be what? Couching it somewhere? Or going through another stupid relationship that you knew you should have broken up from, but you didn't? Or whatever it may be. And so I pride myself on being this way. So I tell others, get together with it. And so recently, over Christmas, I was just hitting this slump, like it was Groundhog Day for more days than I care to admit. And it was getting to the point where I just had nothing to say. I wasn't feeling much. I was feeling very what I call flatlined. So there was no peaks and valleys, no nothing. It just was just like I was coexisting without a lot of spark. And in a conversation with somebody, then I realized that I've done my work and I've showed up, and there's people that just haven't shown up. And you can get pissy with it, and I could try to go down one of these avenues and rattle them and shake them and bring them with me, but that wasn't the point. And then it kind of came to the realization of, what was my hurry? Like, I'm here, but other people aren't quite here yet. And many people want to get to their destinations without enjoying the journey. I feel like I've enjoyed the journey. And so, but it doesn't make me feel like I have when I'm sitting with too many days of not enough passionate enthusiasm and spark and excitement and answers. And then when you look around at what's going on in the world, and you're seeing, the walls coming in, the ceilings coming down, and the what ifs, and then the blind people that just refuse to see something else, but then, they want to cast stones back at you because you want to explore a little bit more, And so there's all this different stuff happening, and it's not just happening in my zip code community and state. It's not just happening because I live here in DC. It's happening everywhere. And then you can go to places where they're just oblivious to it. They go, what you talking about? Oh, okay. And so then you have to be careful with all your conversations you have there. So sometimes it's just like, I might as well just freaking retreat and not do anything. Because even when I was out of town and I was just kind of being more quiet and just, I thought it was being okay. I wasn't acting and reacting and doing things just to have a fake day. Does that make sense? And so I actually had someone say, you're different. And even so-and-so said you were different. You're not as funny as you usually are. You're not as this as you usually are. And I was like, I didn't take it as a cut. My feelings didn't get hurt. I didn't feel the need to defend myself. I just said, okay, well, just going through my own stuff. I mean, if I'd said another 100 words at the dinner table, would that have made you all think that I was normal? I just didn't feel the conversation was just pulling me in anywhere at all whatsoever. So anywho, it was nice to hear other people sort of say the same thing. Just like when we did the interview with Anne and I were on the same page. It was like, just who do we think we are? And we're no better than anybody else just because we've done a lot of work. But here's me. I do a lot, so I have a lot of expectations, and sometimes those expectations don't follow linear time, and that is what I'm realizing. So for me, I've got to keep myself a little busier, but I can't just do the mundane. Once you explore and you've let go of so many cellular things, you're ready for more. And so wait times can just seem so long, and yet I know it's in divine timing, and I know that maybe I'm not quite ready for the next stage, and all my guides know that, and they're still doing work with me and all my bodies and so on. But it's still frustrating because I occasionally lash out at them, and then I have to be like, you know what? I just need to accept today for how today is and do the best that I possibly can. Get one foot in front of the other. Think before I do. Feel before I do. And respond before all of that as it's processing. And remember that I do not want to create reactionary stuff where I've got to undo that later. And so I'm careful with each thing, more careful than I ever have been, because personally I always find energy is very sacred. It's just sacred. And at the same time, finding my own voice and expressing that. And so, I think we're also in the middle of this really truly balancing the feminine and masculine within ourselves, because that's the twin flame right there. And being one with all of that has been severed. And so there's a lot of deep understanding into what those are. And then going out with the collective, with the feminine and the masculine within the collective, and how it's coming back together. And so there's so many really deep rabbit holes that we can all go down. And sometimes if I'm sitting on my sofa too long, I've gone down one. And then I get into a little bit of the gerbil wheel. And then I want to put a little motor oil in the gerbil wheel because I want it to keep going. And then I put it in reverse because I'm super talented like that. I mean, come on. But guess what? I'm not a gerbil, not a hamster. I don't need a wheel. And I know that. There's a whole side of me that knows that you don't need any of that. But the moral and the point of all of this is it's okay to express that you feel like crap and that shit just isn't working today. And it's okay to confide in certain people that you know that they're not taking on your stuff. You're just bouncing with it. Yeah, you know what? I experienced that and I was feeling that way. Yeah, me too. And I was doing this. But you're not feeding a negative timeline. Because really, people that are super connected, they're not taking on each other's fix it, gotta fix it. It's like, yeah, I know. All right, well, hey, listen, good luck on your path. And got any tips to toss back? Please do. And I'll do the same thing. But you're not feeding a negative timeline. But then again, we all know that when we sit in this too long, then we isolate ourselves. And what we really need to be doing is getting out there in the divine columns of light and filling our bodies with the divine columns of light and being in that kindness. And so we have more downtime to be able to do that. So instead of running around like I did for years, working 50 hours a week, putting 50,000 miles on my car, when March 2020 came along, the very, very first response I had was, time to learn to communicate better with the spirit guides. Yeah. And calls would come in. And I'd be like, people just slowly started fading out of my life. And I'm like, yes. And then I found myself all alone going, I don't really have any friends. I don't really have any groups anymore. I don't really have anything to do. I feel like an old retired person on a rocking chair staring out the freaking window watching the squirrel show. And then I'm like, well, I'm not any of those things. But those squirrels are awfully entertaining, but only for a short period of time. So anyway, be able to talk with certain people about how you feel. Be able to bounce with certain people. Be okay with being isolated. Maybe that's the time you just commune with nature. Maybe that's the time you just sit and doodle and draw symbols. I don't know. Maybe it's the time you cook. But everything that you do, find the love in it. And set the intention to find the love in every little thing. And bless every little thing. So if you're walking through a store, everything around you gets blessed by you. So the next person that comes down the aisle, you hope they feel that. Maybe whatever they're going through, it allows them to be diffused a little bit. Just anything that we can do. And find the power and the okayness to feel like crap, and find the power and the okayness of taking action, and finding the power and the okayness when nothing's moving and it all seems stale and you're hovering and you can't quite see what's coming, and you let go of all the stuff from the past, and the clock ticks. So anyway, catch that interview. It's going to be a good one. It's just really 3 people just throwing out some stuff. Know that you're going to be okay. And, you know, you need assistance. My website's always in the description. But be the love. Share the love. Receive the love. Give the love. And just allow this whole physical filter and energetics around you to just be it. Just be it. Give your plants in your house the love, and maybe get the dust mop out and mop everything. Give that some love by dusting that dust right out of your house. I don't know. But just be in it fully. Whatever that is, be in it fully. Don't avoid it. Don't run from it. All right?